In this lesson today, we talked about plotting ordered pairs on a coordinate plane, as well as how to label our coordinate planes. The first thing we talked about was how to label it, and the fact that a coordinate plane is the intersection of two different number lines. We have a horizontal number line, which we mark the x-axis, and we have a vertical number line, which we name the y-axis. Both number lines we've looked at in the past few lessons. A horizontal number line, the positive numbers go to the right of 0. 0 is where they cross the x and the y axis. To the left of 0 is all of my negative numbers. On my y-axis, I count up from 0, where I cross the x-axis, and those are all of my positive numbers. And then I count down from 0 on my y-axis, those are my negative numbers. And that's how we first started out labeling our coordinate plane. Whenever I want to graph an ordered pair is always written with the x value first and then the y value. For example, if I had 2, 3, I would say that the 2 is on the x-axis. X always comes before y, so I would go to positive 2 on my x-axis. And then I would go up to 3 on my y, and I would put a dot right there, and that's how I would plot that point. I'm not drawing a line up and over. I'm just drawing a dot right on where they would meet. Okay. We talked about the origin and where that is located. The origin is where things begin. So that would be where they cross right here, where x is 0 and y is 0. So my coordinate plane for my origin, my ordered pair for the origin is 0, 0. And the last thing that we talked about when we looked at our coordinate plane is our different quadrants. Because I've split two number lines, I end up with 4 different quadrants. To label the quadrants, we start in the upper right-hand corner, and this is going to be quadrant 1. From there, if we can remember that quadrant 1 is in the upper right-hand corner, then we just have to go counterclockwise around. There we go. To number all the rest of them. So it goes quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. Then we noticed a pattern. We noticed that all of my x and y values in quadrant 1 are positive. To get to quadrant 1, I would have to go to the right on the x, which are all positive numbers, and then I would have to go up on my y-axis, and that would be positive as well. So quadrant 1 are going to be 2 positive numbers inside my ordered pair. Quadrant 2, I would have to go to the left on my x-axis, which are negatives. Then I would go up on my y, which is positive. So it would be negative, positive. Right, to get to quadrant 3, I would start at the origin. I would have to go left on the x, which is a negative, and then down on my y, and that would be another negative as well. So I would end up with negative, negative. And then the last quadrant is quadrant 4. To get there, I would have to go right from 0 on my x. That would be a positive. And then down, which is a negative y. So I'd end up with a positive x and a negative y. So those are just some patterns we could know. So if I were to ask you where 10, negative 1 is, you would know that it's going to go positive right on the x and then negative down. So you would end up in quadrant 4.